Prime delivery is fast. How fast are we talking? We're talking puzzle toys and lick pad delivered so fast you can get this puppy under control fast. We're talking chew toys at your door without really waiting fast. Pee pads, cooling mat, and peg hammer fast and fast. And there's training TREATS faster than you can say sit fast. And now we can all relax and order these matching hoodies to get cozy and cute fast. Fast free delivery. It's on Prime.
I can't tell you how often I hear, oh, I'm a little OCD. I like things neat. That's not OCD. I'm Howie Mandel, and I know this because I have OCD. Actual OCD causes relentless unwanted thoughts. What if I did something terrible and forgot? What if I'm a bad person? Why am I thinking this terrible thing? It makes you question absolutely everything, and you'll do anything to feel better. OCD is debilitating, but it's also highly treatable with the right kind of therapy. Regular talk therapy doesn't cut it. OCD needs specialized therapy. That's why I want to tell you about NoCD. NoCD is the world's largest virtual therapy provider for OCD. Their licensed therapists provide specialized therapy virtually, and it's covered by insurance for over 155 million Americans. If you think you might be struggling with OCD, visit nocd.com to schedule a free 15-minute call and learn more. That's nocd.com.
There's nothing better than treating yourself, except maybe treating yourself to high-end, top-quality pieces at half the cost. That's what Quince is all about. From European linen apparel starting at just $30 to handbags crafted from the finest Italian leather, Quince can elevate an everyday outfit at a fraction of the price. By working directly with top artisans and cutting out the middlemen, Quince gives you luxury pieces without the markup. Go to quince.com/style for everyday affordable luxuries with free shipping and 365-day returns.
Hello, everyone. I just want to tell you about a podcast I think you'll enjoy. If you're like me, I'm always on the podcast apps looking for something else scary to add to my feed. And this one is called The Most Terrifying Places in America by the Travel Channel. On the podcast, they visit some of the creepiest locations across the United States. They go to a hotel in New England where guests wake up and they're covered in scratches. My personal favourite is the one where there's a church in the middle of the woods and these security guards have to stay there for the night, and it's really, really creepy. There's so many different places on there. Get yourself a nice coffee or tea, pop it on and enjoy. Listen to The Most Terrifying Places in America wherever you get your podcasts.
Prime delivery is fast. How fast are we talking? We're talking puzzle toys and lick pad delivered so fast you can get this puppy under control fast. We're talking chew toys at your door without really waiting fast. Pee pads, cooling mat, and peg hammer fast and fast. And there's training TREATS faster than you can say sit fast. And now we can all relax and order these matching hoodies to get cozy and cute fast. Fast free delivery. It's on Prime.
Hello, I'm Sarah, and welcome to the Whispering Woods Extra. I'm on my own today, as explained in the Reddit episode. I've fallen well behind because I've not been sleeping properly. I blame the menopause, I blame PTSD, I blame everything. I'm actually a little bit delirious. So, Toby went to his dad's before I had chance to even record this episode, so I'm flying solo. This episode is actually connected to the main story, and you'll find out why later on. I'll get straight into it. Are you ready for the first story? Located in the countryside near Stevens Point, Wisconsin, Boy Scout Lane is a short, isolated stretch of gravel road, enveloped by thick woods. This dead-end lane only about half a mile long, has no outlet and is surrounded by private forest land. Its seclusion and quiet have made it the subject of one of Wisconsin's most notorious urban legends. Despite its innocent name, Boy Scout Lane is said to be haunted by the ghosts of an entire Boy Scout group. Over the decades, this forlorn road's dark lore has been fueled by campfire tales, paranormal investigations, and curious thrill seekers, all drawn by the chilling stories that cling to its name. Boy Scout Lane lies in the town of Linwood in central Wisconsin, west of the Wisconsin River and not far from the small city of Stevens Point. The road is unpaved and only about 2,500 feet. It winds through a tract of quiet woodland with no development around, no lights, no houses directly along the lane, only trees pressing in on both sides. The lane ends abruptly in the forest. The isolation and lack of an outlet contribute to an atmosphere of abandonment. At night, the area is especially dark, and even by day, it can feel desolate. Visitors describe the setting as eerie, a narrow dirt road beneath a canopy of trees, with silence only broken by the crunch of gravel underfoot or the rustle of branches. The name Boy Scout Lane comes from a plan that never materialized. Decades ago, the local Boy Scouts of America purchased this land intending to build a scout camp, but the camp was never built. The name, however, stuck, and over time it took on a more ominous meaning. The land remains private property today, posted with no trespassing signs, yet that hasn't stopped legend trippers from sneaking down the lane in hopes of encountering its famed ghosts. The legend of Boy Scout Lane centres on a Boy Scout troop that met a tragic and untimely end along this road. As with many urban legends, there are multiple versions of the story, all gruesome, that attempt to explain how the Scouts died and why their spirits linger. Though details differ, every version concludes with a troop of Boy Scouts dead in the woods. In some tellings, a troop came to camp in these woods in the 1950s or 60s and never left. The Scouts were slaughtered in the night by the very person meant to protect them. One version claims the Scoutmaster systematically murdered the boys in their sleep. Other versions blame a deranged bus driver who killed the Scouts during their trip. Either way, the tale is one of betrayal, an adult caretaker turning on the children. Some add that the homicidal Scoutmaster later hanged himself from a tree overhanging the road out of remorse. Another set of stories describes the tragedy not as foul play, but as a terrible accident. One popular version says a few boys sneaked away from the campsite at night, perhaps homesick or mischievous, carrying a lantern. The boys accidentally dropped the lantern, igniting a forest fire that rapidly engulfed the area and killed the entire troop as they slept. In an alternate accident scenario, the legend says that the troop's bus crashed on the lonely road, either plunging into the trees or catching fire, with no survivors. Both versions emphasize a nighttime disaster in these woods, whether by flame or collision, that wiped out the scouts in an instant. Another variation simply claims the troop vanished without a trace in the woods along Boy Scout Lane. In this telling, the boys and their leaders were camping along the road when, one by one, they went missing in the dark forest, never to be found. Some say the entire troop collectively disappeared, sparking a baffling mystery. A twist on this story has 2 scouts escaping whatever fate befell the others. They fled into the woods trying to find help. Tragically, these 2 became lost and eventually died of starvation and exposure, their bodies discovered much later, or in some versions, never found. This variation plays on the fear of simply vanishing in a remote place, with the woods swallowing up the unfortunate children. In most iterations of the legend, after the violent deaths or disappearances, the aftermath is the same. The ghosts of the Boy Scouts are said to haunt the area. Locals insist that on dark nights you can hear the residual echoes of the troop's last hike, the faint crunch of their boots and snapping twigs in the underbrush, as the lost scouts eternally search for help, all for their way back to camp. Tales speak of mysterious lights appearing between the trees, often described as the glow of lanterns or flashlight beams swaying through the woods, presumed to be the spirits of the boys or their leaders still trying to signal for rescue. Some even claim to see the apparition of a bus moving silently along the road or parked among the trees, only to watch it vanish when approached. In short, Boy Scout Lane's lore paints it as a place where a fun scouting trip turned into horror, and where the forest is now alive with the unsettled dead. After hearing these chilling stories, a skeptical listener might wonder, did any of these actually happen? The factual answer is no. There is no official record or evidence that a troop of Boy Scouts, or anyone else, was killed or disappeared on Boy Scout Lane. No news reports, no police records, no archived Scout documents support the legend. Despite the many variations of the tale, researchers and historians have found no record of a mass murder, bus crash, or fatal fire in that area at any point. No Boy Scout camp ever existed. The Boy Scouts did own the land at one time, but since the camp was never built, no Scouts were ever even camping on that property officially. The road's ominous name is simply a remnant of that abandoned plan, not of any deadly incident. Over the years, local newspapers and investigators have debunked the legend's historical claims. As one report noted, there have never been any missing person reports or unexplained troop vanishings matching the Boy Scout Lane story, nor any fatal forest in the vicinity that could account for such a tragedy. The Portage County Historical Society and longtime area residents have no recollection of a catastrophic event involving Scouts, which something of that magnitude would certainly have been remembered in community history. The lack of evidence hasn't stopped the stories, but it's important to clarify. The Boy Scout deaths are entirely fictional. Boy Scout Lane's spooky reputation grew from hearsay and imaginative storytelling, not from any verifiable disaster. So how did the legend arise? It appears the raid's name itself may have inspired the legend. Locals saw Boy Scout Lane on a map or road sign and speculated about its origin. With no camp present and the odd name, people concocted ghost stories to explain it. The tale likely spread informally in the 1970s and 80s and was later popularised by inclusion in regional ghost story books and websites. By the early 2000s, Boy Scout Lane had cemented its place in Wisconsin folklore as the road where a troop died, even though that never actually happened. This is a classic case of an urban legend attaching itself to a place. Even though the tragic backstory is made up, people insist that strange phenomena occur on Boy Scout Lane. Numerous visitors over the years, from local youths to paranormal investigators, have reported eerie experiences in the woods along the road, giving the legend a life of its own. Disembodied sounds are one of the most commonly reported haunting signs. People describe hearing what could be footsteps, crunching leaves or branches breaking, as if invisible figures are moving all around them in the dark. This often comes with an unnerving feeling of being watched, even when no one else is visibly present. Some have heard the murmur of distant voices, or even what they interpret as faint laughter of children deep in the woods. Lights in the woods are another frequent claim. On certain nights, witnesses say they have seen flickering lights drifting between the trees, often described as looking like old-fashioned lanterns or flashbeam lights bobbing along. These mysterious lights will dart about or sway and then vanish suddenly, with no logical source. Photographs have sometimes captured orbs or unexplained light anomalies here as well, feeding speculation that they are manifestations of the departed scouts. One enduring tale is that if you park on Boy Scout Lane and walk off with your lights off, you might see the glow of what appear to be campfires or lanterns deeper in the forest, which extinguish if you try to approach. Several people have claimed to witness full or partial apparitions. A few have reported seeing shadowy figures in Boy Scout uniforms wandering between the trees or briefly appearing on the roadside, only to dissolve into mist. One particularly dramatic legend, tied to the Scoutmaster murder story, is that the hanged Scoutmaster's ghosts can be seen, a human silhouette hanging or swinging from an elm tree above the road. Drivers have sworn they saw the shape of a boy suspended from a limb overhead, but when they reversed or shone a light, nothing was there. Perhaps the most famous haunting detail of Boy Scout Lane, one that many visitors look for, is the phenomenon of child-sized handprints. Numerous people have told a similar story. After driving down Boy Scout Lane, they found tiny handprints on their car's windows or dusty exterior, as if children had pressed their hands there. In some cases, people say the prints appeared even if they had cleaned their car before the drive. This motif of ghostly handprints is actually a well-known urban legend element. A similar story exists in San Antonio, Texas, involving ghost children pushing a car off train tracks. Nevertheless, it has become part of the Boy Scout Lane mythos. The idea that the spirits of the Scouts will push stranded cars or just leave behind marks of their presence. In addition to these accounts, visitors frequently describe an overwhelming sense of dread or heavy atmosphere. Even hardened ghost hunters have reported feeling sudden chills or the hair on their arms standing up for no apparent reason. Some groups exploring at night have fled after hearing what sounded like approaching footsteps and realising they were surrounded by darkness. Others have recorded strange audio on cameras or phones. For example, one team of college students in 2005 claimed they caught a whispering voice on tape and even a fleeting image of a face at their car window that none of them saw in person. Boy Scout Lane has secured a prominent spot in Wisconsin's catalogue of case lore, alongside tales like Haunchyville or the Bloody Bride Bridge of Stevens Point. It's one of those stories almost every local hears growing up. The legend's notoriety spread far beyond Stevens Point, as publications recounted the chilling myth of the murdered or vanished Boy Scouts. It's now firmly entrenched as a piece of Wisconsin folklore. The cultural impact is a double-edged sword for the local area. On one hand, the legend contributes to a fun identity in Wisconsin as a place of rich supernatural lore. The Stevens Point Tourism Bureau's own blog acknowledges the legend, with a large disclaimer about its truthfulness, knowing that spooky stories draw interest. Especially around Halloween, the tale of Boy Scout Lane is revisited in local media and events. The road has also been a destination for paranormal investigators and ghost hunting groups. Several teams have done nighttime explorations, unofficially, documenting any EMF fluctuations, EVP recordings, or photographic anomalies. While these investigations typically turn up more goosebumps than hard evidence, they keep the law in the limelight. But on the other hand, because Boy Scout Lane is private property, its fame has led to real-world issues. Homeowners near the lane and local authorities have had to deal with trespassers, especially youthful ghost hunters driving in at night. No trespassing signs are posted, and police do patrol the area. Those caught wandering the woods or causing trouble can face warnings or fines. The urban legend's allure is such that people still try to experience it for themselves. But there's a bit of tension between the legend seekers and the locals who just want a quiet rural community.
Prime delivery is fast. How fast are we talking? We're talking puzzle toys and lickpad delivered so fast you can get this puppy under control fast. We're talking chew toys at your door without really waiting fast. Pee pads, cooling mat, and peg hammer fast and fast. And there's training TREATS faster than you can say sit fast. And now we can all relax and order these matching hoodies to get cozy and cute fast. Fast, free delivery. It's on Prime.
I can't tell you how often I hear, oh, I'm a little OCD. I like things neat. That's not OCD. I'm Howie Mandel, and I know this because I have OCD. Actual OCD causes relentless, unwanted thoughts. What if I did something terrible and forgot? What if I'm a bad person? Why am I thinking this terrible thing? It makes you question absolutely everything, and you'll do anything to feel better. OCD is debilitating, but it's also highly treatable with the right kind of therapy. Regular talk therapy doesn't cut it. OCD needs specialized therapy. That's why I want to tell you about NoCD. NoCD is the world's largest virtual therapy provider for OCD. Their licensed therapists provide specialized therapy virtually, and it's covered by insurance for over 155 million Americans. If you think you might be struggling with OCD, visit nocd.com to schedule a free 15-minute call and learn more. That's nocd.com.
So, did you spot the connection? It was the hanging from a tree ghost, which was also in the main episode. It's a great story. I take the opinion that things happen around an area if it has a certain amount of energy. So if it feels off, That is when people have these urban legends about things going on at a particular area because the area feels off. And it's in an attempt to warn other people that there's something off about this area. Now, I know exactly what I'm talking about, and I hope you guys do too. And that's why you have this kind of duality to Boy Scout Lane, because you have this kind of story about the scout troop and things happening, but nothing found in history. But you do have people saying, yeah, stuff goes on there. It's really weird. And that is why I think that urban legends can spring out of these areas where they just feel odd. They're just off. The energy is off. Well, that's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you again on Sunday. Take care, everyone.
Prime delivery is fast. How fast are we talking? We're talking puzzle toys and lick pad delivered so fast you can get this puppy under control fast. We're talking chew toys at your door without really waiting fast. Pee pads, cooling mat, and peg hammer fast and fast. And there's training TREATS faster than you can say sit fast. And now we can all relax and order these matching hoodies to get cozy and cute fast. Fast free delivery. It's on Prime.
There's the part of me that everyone sees. I'm Howie Mandel, the comedian. Apparently, I know what funny is. Funny bought me a house, but I also know what isn't funny. OCD. I've lived with OCD my entire life, and people throw the term around like it's no big deal. But OCD is severe, often debilitating. It's a mental health condition that involves unrelented, unwanted thoughts that can make you question your character, your beliefs, even your safety. General therapy can help with some things, but for OCD, it can actually make things worse. That's why I want to tell you about NoCD. NoCD is the world's largest treatment provider for OCD and is covered by insurance for over 155 million Americans. Their licensed therapists specialize in ERP, the most effective treatment for OCD. If you think you might be struggling with OCD, go to nocd.com to book a free 15-minute call. They are here to help.
Who says luxury has to come with a steep price tag? Quince brings you hotel-quality sheets and linens without the markup. From breathable bamboo bedding to spa-worthy bath towels, Quince makes every corner of your home look and feel luxurious. And by partnering directly with top artisans and ethical factories, Quince delivers premium quality at half the cost of similar brands. Upgrade your home for less at Quince. Go to quince.com/home upgrade for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/home upgrade.